guys, welcome back to my channel. As you can tell by the title, in today's video we are going to be discussing Queen and Slim. I went to go see Queen and Slim yesterday and I've been gathering my thoughts. Queen and Slim is a movie I really wanted to see when I first saw the previews. Then I saw some reviews. Then I saw the reviews of the people who, like the regular folk who saw to see it, and I immediately lost so much interest in it. And then Lena Waithe started doing interviews, and I lost even more interest in it. But then I got curious. I'm like, in my opinion, I thought to myself, the critics gave Queen and Slim good reviews. The regular critics, the self-proclaimed critics, they gave it bad reviews. And then you have me. You have the people like me who are just regular going to see it, who don't consider themselves a critic, who don't. It's just my opinion. This is just my opinion on the movie. And I wanted to come up with my opinion of the movie. And I am more so willing to lean on the side of the self-proclaimed critics who say the movie is just overall not that great. If I was giving this movie a out of 10 rating, I would give it a 6.5. This movie is 100% watchable. It is 100% entertaining. It is 100% good. It's a good movie. It's an okay to good movie. It's not bad in any way. It's definitely not terrible. So if you hear anyone giving it the bad, terrible reviews, they're picky as hell. It's really not bad or terrible. So yeah, what else? I'm trying to give y'all some non-spoiler stuff to go in this with. Bokeem as the uncle, amazing. The uncle in this movie is the best character in this movie. And Bokeem, I might be butchering his name. Bokeem plays it amazing. I absolutely loved him, the actor, in this portrayal of this role. And the uncle in general has the most fleshed out storyline in this. Therefore, I completely enjoyed it. Milena is the director of the movie. Let me see if I can pull up Milena's last name. Child is Milena Matsoukas. Milena Matsoukas. I know Milena via Beyonce. She has directed Beyonce's video. She's directed my favorite Beyonce video, which is Formation. But this is her first feature-length film. This is her first one of those, and I was really curious to see what she brought to the movie because she's so good at aesthetics. If you've seen the videos she's done for Beyonce, if you've seen this type of music video she's done, she's all about aesthetics. She's all about restoring a feeling. Therefore, I was curious to see what she would bring to Queen and Slim, and she brought exactly what I thought she would bring to Queen and Slim. This movie looks absolutely amazing. I think her direction was done very, very well, especially for the first time you've done a feature-length film. I think she did a great job for this being her first time. There's flaws. I sometimes feel like it gets too wrapped up in the aesthetics and it loses the practicality. That is what I will give her critique on. It loses its practicality in order to feel like BAPS, in order to feel like a movie you look at 10 years later, 20 years later, and you like, that looks good. Who cares how the storyline feels? That just looks good. That just looks like the feeling we had in 2019. That's kind of my only issue with that. It's trying to be like a look back 20 years later and be like, that looks amazing. Y'all remember Queen and Slim? The aesthetic, y'all know how people do now with older films. That is kind of what I feel like it does. Instead of trying to be a good directed movie first, and instead of trying to fit the world that it's in. When we left the movie theater, my boyfriend didn't know what year this took place. I had to tell him based on a tombstone we saw in the graveyard, it's definitely post 2012, and then based off storyline, it has to be about 3-4 years after that. So this movie has to be taking place in at least 2015 or later. If they said where it took place, you can just tell me, but it's definitely 2012 and later. And he was like, I would never know, because you wouldn't know this movie takes place in post 2012 because the cars don't look like post 2012. The aesthetic doesn't look like post 2012. It tries to be so vintage that it almost loses its purpose in the movie. Like, the aesthetic don't fit the movie all the way. That is what Take, for example, a Fruitvale Station. A Fruitvale Station looks like it's supposed to be set in the early 2010s or maybe the late 2000s. It looks like that. It looks how it to have all this mouth and all this say-so and all this I'm a special black. You did your job, the poorest out of everyone in here. The actors gave us a good performance, every single one of them, I will say. Milena, she did her thing. The costume designer did their thing. Everyone did their thing except for Lena Waithe, the person who has the most to say. Lena Waithe phoned in a bad script, and I was told through other people, she didn't screen this movie. If you don't know, you screen movies, so you can go to film festivals and screen movies. You can just screen movies in regular old cities. You screen movies. You screen movies, especially when you're screening. You screen movies like this. These are the movies you go screen. You check the temperature. You check to see how everything is doing. She didn't screen this movie, you guys. She decided that it was not worth screening, I guess. I guess her and Milena thought this movie was so good it didn't need to be screened, but this movie would have benefited so much from being screened, from people looking at this movie and telling Milena and Lena Waithe what needs to be cut, what needs to be added, what needs to be tighter. That is what this movie needs. And all the critiques that you're hearing from people could have been literally eliminated. These critiques are what people would have told you if you would have screened the movie. And we could have gotten a better movie. We could have gotten a better movie. But they did not do that. And that's why this movie is 2.5 hours of nothing. This movie, in my opinion, is 2.5 hours of nothing. For you to have a 2.5 hour runtime and I leave with nothing, to me, that is crazy. That's crazy. There is no conversations that can be had about this movie. There's no discourse that can be had. This doesn't add nuance to the discourse. This movie just doesn't do anything. It doesn't do anything. It doesn't do anything exceptional. It doesn't do anything necessarily. It does some things bad, but it's doing nothing good as well. Therefore, I'm so curious as to why we didn't screen this movie. First of all, by screening this movie, we could have cut out 30 minutes. We could have got this movie down to 1:45, 2 hours, because that's all it needs to be. And I'll explain later when my spoiler part why it could have just been that. So if you would have screened it, you could have cut out that, and people don't realize, some of these directors, some of these script writers don't realize when you cut down the movie, it causes you to be tight. So y'all know how I'm long-winded? The reason why I'm so long-winded and my videos are so long is because I don't want to be tight. I want to get out all my thoughts. I don't want to chop. That's not me. I want to get my thoughts out. But the beauty of people who make their videos shorter is you're cramming all the information you need into this time and you're getting rid of the filler. So I don't got to hear about what you did yesterday. I ain't got to hear about what your boyfriend did. I don't got to hear your car broke down. I don't have to hear any of that. I come here, I get what I want, and I leave. That is what this movie should have gotten. This movie should have chopped off 30 minutes to get this down to a 1:45, 2 hour runtime, and we could have got rid of so much foolishness. Half the criticism goes away if you chop down for 30 minutes of the movie. That's just my opinion. But I took notes. I 100% took notes, and we're going to get into it. First of all, about the screen now, this movie has no clue what it wants to be. This movie has no clue what it wants to say, how it wants to say it, why is it saying it. It doesn't know what it wants to be. There's 3 ways this movie could have went, and they took none of them. They went nowhere. They could have decided to be a love story. So I didn't even tell you who's in this movie. We have Daniel, who I'm not going to butcher his name, and we have Jodie Turner-Smith. Jodie Turner-Smith with the name sounds like she's Black American. Therefore, I was fooled. Jodie Turner-Smith sounds like a slave-ass name, so I thought she was a Black American. But no, sis is British, and we come to our first point. Why the hell are there 2 British people in this movie? I'm so happy I didn't know that last night because I may not have seen it. I may just skip this movie altogether. I'm sick of seeing Black British people play Black American people. And it'd be one thing if it's just folly, it's no big deal, but we're in this phase where Black Americans only get tragic stories. We only get like stories about us dying and shit. Therefore, if you're going to give movies about the Black experience in America, I'm going to point you out 4 movies. Get Out, Selma, Harriet, and this movie. 4 movies that are about the Black American experience. All of them are starring British people. 2 of these movies are still in theater. This one, Queen and Slim, that we're here for, and Harriet. 2 movies that are black. One is about a real black woman, a real black American woman, and the other one is about black Americans and police brutality. Yet somehow we have British people playing them. Now, and we're having a sleepover, a black sleepover, and it's all cute. We're waiting to exhale. No problem. No big deal. Put all the black British people you want in the movie. It's not that deep. But if you're going to tell the story about a black American experience, do not get me British people pretending to be American. I don't want to see it. And before you come in the comments, they had black Americans and Black Panther. It's a superhero movie. It ain't that deep. It ain't that deep. The same way I don't feel it's that deep if y'all in sleepover movies about black Americans. I don't care. But if you're going to tell a story, so now I'm upset because it's intentional. It's now intentional. People make these scripts and say, I want someone who is not black American. And we get on the issue of non-black Americans being seen as others and getting treated better than black Americans. It'd be one thing, we just have an influx of black Americans in movies, but we don't. Everywhere you look, it's a British person who plays a black American. Let's look at Snowfall, the main character in Snowfall. Snowfall is one of my favorite TV shows. Good old Frank, a black British person, but playing an American drug dealer. Where are the roles for the black? If they get to steal the black American roles, what roles are left for the black Americans? It don't make no sense. It don't make no sense for me. So that's my number one gripe. The casting. The casting is not good. The acting performances are decent. The acting performances are good to decent. Decent to good. Decent to good. I think Daniel gave a better performance than Jodie, which is fine because this is the first time Jodie has really been in a major film. So I will give her growing pains, but I don't believe, okay, Jodie is supposed to be the stubborn black girl, and I like stubborn black girls. I think stubborn black girls deserve their place in media. We don't always have to be agreeable and nice. I love seeing a good stubborn black girl. But Jodie doesn't play it well. Jodie mixes stubborn with being annoying. Annoying and stubborn are 2 totally different words. You should be annoying to the people you're stubborn to. You shouldn't be annoying to the viewer. And that is what it came. She played it very annoying instead of playing it stubborn. Like when she didn't want to cut her, spoiler time, when she didn't want to cut her hair off, I'm just like, sis, y'all on the run. Where do you get room? Where do you get room to be stubborn? When they was eating in the back of the truck and she didn't want to hear him chew. Sis, we on the run. Who gives a good goddamn? Like, it's just stuff like that. I'm like, you're not being stubborn is saying no. Instead of stopping to play with horses, we're gonna keep going. That's stubborn. Stubborn is saying we not taking this dude to the hospital because we on the run. That's stubborn. That's we doing things my way, and that's on period. You were just being annoying. So I believe, and I don't know if that's just Lena Waithe's shitty script, or if that's just the way Miss Jodie played. I don't know, but somebody did something wrong, and I do not like her name is Angela. Angela in the movie. So Queen, we don't know why their names are Queen and Slim. I went on the Googles to see why they got the name Queen and Slim. It's either because that's their actual middle names, like her name is Angela Queen, her last name, and his name is Ernest Slim, his last name. That could possibly be. But that's kind of been some of the answers, but also it could be a play on a black historical thing. But fuck out of here with the black historical thing. You got 2 black British people in this movie. Get out of here. That bothered me so much about this. I'm like, yeah, no. But to my notes, back to my notes. The script is bad. The dialogue in this movie is piss. We gonna be here all day. The dialogue in this movie is so piss poor. Even Daniel and Jodie are trying to deliver the dialogue, and it's just falling short. Like, so many moments are so cringe. Like, the good dialogue, like, let's get on the uncle. So yeah, the dialogue is bad. Let's get on the uncle. Why the uncle character is so freaking good. We all got a family member. We all got a family member who we wouldn't go through for a damn thing. We wouldn't go to this family member for nothing, for literally nothing. We wouldn't ask them for a thing. We wouldn't ask them for a thing. Except for if we got ourselves in some mess. Except if we got ourselves in some mess. We all have a family member like that. Like, I don't want nothing from you. And if I see you, cool. If I don't, it's really no sweat off my back. But if I ever got in some mess, knocking at your door. That is what the uncle character is, and that's where this movie is great because it does hit on a black truth. It hits on a black truth that we all got some shady family member who can't help us with nothing until it's time to help us with something. That is what this uncle hits at, and the character is so good because even with the uncle being so shady and so mean and him having PTSD, he still would ride for his family to the very end, but he's so stubborn about wanting to ride for his family. It's that family member where I ain't never doing nothing for y'all. I ain't doing nothing for y'all as they getting ready to do something for y'all. That's what it hits on. It hits on that truth where you tell your family, I'm not doing nothing for y'all. Don't come to me for nothing. You know when your mama tell you don't come to her for nothing, but then when you tell her the day before school you got a project due, she telling you how you all types ain't never gonna be nothing, but she still driving you to the store to go get the stuff for your project that's due tomorrow. That's what it hits on. It hits on this idea like, I don't like y'all and I really don't want to do this and you don't deserve me doing this, but you my blood and I would die for you. That's what it hits on, and it's so beautiful. That's why the uncle character is it's so well written. He's problematic. When you hit that woman, I was like, good God. But it's so real. It's so genuine. We all have a family member like that who's just seedy, who's just like, but you know, if you ever needed them, they would be 10 toes to the ground for you. That is what I loved about the uncle character. Bokeem just played it so well. Bokeem, you saved this movie. You saved this movie from being complete garbage. I'll say it. If Bokeem's not in the movie playing the uncle, the movie does nothing. And let's talk about the jacket. The best part of this entire movie is at the funeral scene. Yeah, they die. If you're in, they die. The funeral scene, and Bokeem got on that fur jacket. You better come through. Somebody better wear a sick fur on my funeral. Wear a sick fur. Okay, so back to the point. This movie has 3 things it could be. 3 things that it could be. This movie could be a love story. It could be a love story between Queen and Slim. Beautiful. It could be a Black Lives Matter movie where we're talking about police brutality and how black people are treated in America. Fair enough. Sure, I don't like the new Black Lives Matter movie category that we're seeing around these days, but sure. It could fall under that, and you could have done it well. Or it could have been a on the run movie. Now, of these 3 categories, I would be most, if this was my movie, if Lena Waithe gave me this script and I'm the director, I'm turning this into a on the run movie. I'm turning this movie into an on the run movie. This movie would have been amazing if it was an on the run movie. And I know you're saying they killed a cop. How was it not an on the run movie? Because it's not. Somehow, these people commit a crime, technically. They commit a crime, and they go on the run, yet somehow this isn't an on-the-run movie. This isn't an on-the-run movie, you guys. What makes an on-the-run movie an on-the-run movie is suspense. If there's no suspense in an on-the-run movie, the movie is not on the run. It's just motherfuckers driving. That is what it is. And that's what this movie somehow manages to be. People just driving. Nowhere in this movie does it ever feel like they finna get caught. Like that I'm scared they're gonna get caught. Until we see police. Until I see police with my own eyes, that is the only time I'm in fear that they're going to get caught. That is it. When they're driving down these back roads, which we'll get on the fact that these aren't back roads, these are freaking country highways. When they're driving down these country highways, never once does it frighten me that they're going to get caught because they don't seem scared they're going to get caught. My good sis pulls over to put a head out the window. My good sis pulls over to look at horses. My good sis pulls over to go to a cemetery to see her mama. They have pulled over so many times. Y'all just getting to Florida. Y'all have 6 days to get to Florida. 6 days to get to Florida from Ohio. I'm not the best driver in the world, but it's not taking me no more than 2.5. It ain't taking me no more than 2.5 days to get from Ohio to Florida when I'm on the run. And that's on period. That's on period. If I am on the run and I know I need to get to Cuba, and the only way I'm getting to Cuba is to go through Florida. I promise you I'm in Florida in 12 hours. I don't know how. I'm in Florida in 12 hours, maybe earlier. We not taking detours. We're not eating. I ain't never seen motherfuckers on the run so long who get so hungry. Y'all just killed someone. If I have a minor inconvenience, I can't eat. I can't eat. I don't want to eat. I don't want to sleep. I'm sick. It's the minorest things. I'm sick. These people done kill somebody. They on the run, about to spend the rest of their life in prison or get the chair. And they don't even see. They the hungriest people I ever seen. The sleepiest people I ever seen. That don't make no sense. But that just goes on to the plot holes of this movie. So the fact that it's not an on the run movie, it's what are you doing? What are you doing? This isn't an on-the-run movie. There's no suspense. We only get worried about the cops when we see the cops. That's the only time we care about the cops, and that's not how suspense movies go. We should always feel like we're always about to get got. That's how a runaway movie goes. Queen and Slim don't care about getting caught till it's time to get caught. The only detour they made that made sense to be made was to go into the juke joint. To go into the juke joint, when they started dancing, the first detour they made was the only detour that should have been made, period. Because that's how we build character. We build character by them going to dance. But that scene of them dancing becomes significantly less good, less impactful, because y'all stopped everywhere damn else. Y'all went everywhere else. Everywhere. Let's talk about the simple fact. I'm all over the place and I can't even follow my notes. Our good boy Slim knows how to start a car with a screwdriver. He knows that. We learned he knows that when they're staying with the good white folk. The good white folk. By the way, that's just a blurb. This movie has a lot of good white folk, and that's problematic to me because it rests on this idea that there's good white folk. It's like when you see The Help. It rests on white savior, and it's like, guess what, you guys? There are some bad white people, but there's good white folk in there too. And it's done to make white people who go to the movie feel good about themselves. Once again, this movie has no risk. Lena Waithe took no risk with this script. If you leave nothing, this movie does nothing. It does nothing. Take If a Beale Street Could Talk. Take a Moonlight. Take all the good black movies that have been made. They take risks. They don't try to make white people or black people happy. They tell a truth. Moonlight, which is one of my favorite movies of all time, tells a truth. If you have not done anything, please go read the script for Moonlight. The script for Moonlight may be better than the freaking movie. Black boys look blue in the moonlight. It's something like that. I don't know why it's escaping me. I cried reading the script of that movie. It's so good. This script is bad. The script is out. You can go read the script. You can go read the script of almost any movie, but I don't know why people act, but go read the script. Go read the screenplay. It's bad. That's the Moonlight. Let me go look up this Moonlight screenplay so y'all really can go see what a screenplay is supposed to look like. In Moonlight, Black Boys Look Blue. First of all, the name is sickening. In Moonlight, Black Boys Look Blue. I butchered that just a few seconds ago. In Moonlight, Black Boys Look Blue. That is a screenplay, darling. A screenplay. A screenplay. But this is not. This is not done well. This is not done well. What did I say that to? Oh, the screwdriver. The freaking screwdriver. So we learned that Slim can screwdriver a car. These the most non-stealing runaways I've ever seen. These people want to live honest the whole... When you are on the run, it's not about living honest. Y'all should have been stealing cars every city y'all hit. They worry about gas. You ain't got to worry about gas if you stealing cars off lots. If you stealing cars off lots, if you stealing cars out of grocery store parking lots, you ain't got to worry too much about gas. So we learned, so I'm thinking these people the whole time, when they run into a good old sheriff in Kentucky, the white savior, the not all white people are bad narrative that this movie forces down our throat bothers me, because they're in freaking Kentucky and they run into a good old nice sheriff. Is it realistic? Y'all tell me. They're in Kentucky and they run into a good old nice sheriff in the backwoods of Kentucky. Is it realistic? If it's realistic, tell me it's realistic. But is it realistic? Is it realistic? Is it realistic? It's just not realistic. It's just not realistic. Okay? The two fugitives run into the good old... Even when he finds out they're killers, he's still a good old nice sheriff. Come on. Come on. Like I said, this movie was made so that when the white people leave the movie theater, they're like, well, I would have been one of the good ones. I would have been the good one. And it's just like, what's the risk? You made no risk. You made no risk. You made your point. There's no antagonist in this movie. When you have the good old nice sheriff in Kentucky, you have the good old nice white people who let them hide under the floorboard. When you have the good old white boy who could have shot Slim in his face because Slim is a freaking idiot who gives the little boy a loaded gun at the gas station, he could have killed you. But no, he didn't, because he's a good old white boy. And then to show that he's the good old white boy, if you look closely, beside the white boy at the grocery store, he has a magazine, a picture of Slim. So you're supposed to, as the audience, see that and know he knows Slim. And this is supposed to create stakes. Number one, we're 20 minutes into the movie. No one actually thinks this boy is about to shoot Slim. So come on, we're 20 minutes into the movie. Yeah, if this happened about hour and 30 in, I'm a little shaking in my boots. But we're 20 minutes in. Slim just don't know how to stick up a gas station. And the boy knows who he is. You give the boy a loaded gun and he doesn't shoot you. What I would have much rather see the boy try to shoot Slim and Slim duck the bullets. Because then we can do the social commentary on mass shootings and who's performing these mass shootings. But so for all the people who's like, this is a play on mass shootings, he didn't kill him. He gave him gas, gave him back his gun, and that was that. It shows that he does not possess what it takes to possess to do the mass, because he could have killed the boy. He could have killed the guy he knows is on the run for killing a cop. That's what he could have done, because that's what reality is. It's not playing on the truth. This is a fairy tale. And the thing is, I would love the idea of black fairy tales, like black retellings. I would love it. To me, Django Unchained. Django Unchained is a black fairy tale. It's a black fairy tale story. But do you understand why that movie is so good? Because it hits on a truth. It hits on a truth, but makes it a fairy tale. This movie is still hitting on truth. It's not hitting on no truth, and it's sad. How you trying to be a fairy tale, so you're not hitting on no truths, but then it's also sad. Come on, at least Django has a happy ending. Django has a happy ending, and that's what makes it a fairy tale. It makes it a slave fairy tale, and that's what makes it a beautiful movie. It makes it at least a nuanced movie at the worst. And I love Django. Django also top 10 favorite movies. I love Django Unchained. Sorry, that makes me problematic. I apologize. I wasn't around the SJWs when Django came out. I was a kid and I loved it. I was a freshman in high school. I love Django Unchained. If we're mad at Django Unchained these days, I miss that discourse. So yes, we have that. So they know how to hot wire a car. Yet we still walking around in the sheriff's car that we stole. We paying $2,500 to fix this uncle's car. And for what? For what? Why are we trying to get this car fixed? Why are we trying to get this car fixed? It doesn't make any sense to get this car fixed. It makes sense to go steal a new car. Mister, I have a screwdriver. You should have took a screwdriver out of the mean mechanic's shop and stolen his car. That's what makes sense. That's why I say this movie can't be an on-the-run movie, because they're not on the run. They're not committed to being on the run. They're just not. They're not trying to get to Cuba in no hurry. They're just not. Every once in a while, they bring up the fact that they need to go to Cuba. Back to my notes. The riot scene. I wanted to believe the girls were just being dramatic when it came to the riot scene. People didn't actually dislike the riot scene all that much. Child. That riot scene is so bad. If you don't if you're this far, I'm assuming you saw the movie. The riot scene where the little black boy just points a gun at a black cop's face and shoots him. No, what are you trying to evoke? Because not a single person who is Black Lives Matter, not a single person who is against police brutality is okay with a little black boy losing his life and also taking the life of a cop. In that way, that cop was nothing but nice. That cop was nothing but nice to that boy. And he didn't deserve that. And in no way, shape, or form would anyone ever do that. number one, that's why I say it's not a truth. I'm not about to sit here and condemn the little boy for doing it, because in no world does a boy who looks no older than 14 would ever do that. Would ever do that. Would ever do that. They just wouldn't. They just wouldn't. It's not a truth. It's not a truth. And if you're hitting on a truth that people who protest against police brutality would think that's okay, that's also not a truth. That's not a truth. No one wanted to see that cop die. No one. Not a single person in my movie theater thought that was okay. There's one guy was like, whoa. Like, it's a whoa moment. Like, who does that? Who does that? That's not a good moment. And then simultaneously, we're cutting to Queen and Slim having sex in the car. For what? For what? And that takes us to a point of, this is a love story gone wrong. No one, and maybe you're just a sappy person, but I'm going to go on the ledge here and say, nothing about this movie makes me think Queen and Slim love each other. It's Stockholm Syndrome. We've been around each other for the past 6 days. I'm going to grow some genuine care for you. You've saved my life. I've saved your life. That's it. That's it. That's what y'all feel for each other. You guys feel a bond over a mutual experience. That is what that is. There's nowhere in there does it feel love. Even when they're dancing at the juke joint, it doesn't feel love. It feels like two people who realize we all we got right now. That's what this whole thing feels like. Two people who feel like that's all we got. Nowhere does it feel like they are together. I remember thinking in the theater, when they go to Cuba, they ain't gonna be together. Both them he gonna find him a little Cuban chick, she gonna find her a little Cuban man, and they ain't gonna be together. It's because it's not realistic. They're friends. They're friends. That's why I say this movie works better if they already know each other. If they're not a Tinder date, this movie works a lot better, because I don't have to suspend my disbelief why this defense attorney goes on the run with some dude she met on Tinder. That's it. They know each other from high school. That's the thing. You could still have them on a Tinder date if you want to just bring in a Tinder date and still have them have known each other once. To still have them know each other at one point. That would have been more like, I can't see, because to this day, I don't understand why she goes on the run with him. And you're not clever, Lena Waithe or Milena. I know exactly why you had her be the decision maker in them being on the run, because we always have the discourse how women have to be ride or die, and they're always forced into bad situations by men. So they had her be the reason why they went on the run. So it seems like she had all the authority. She had every right to say no, because he didn't want to go on the run. So having her be the one, let's go on the run, it makes her take all the fault if things are wrong. Like, he ain't make her do nothing. I know why you did it, and it still doesn't make any sense, because another thing that bothers me is, why does Queen have to go through all the hurt? She goes through all the hurt in all of these scenes. She's the one who gets her shoulder popped out of place. She's the one who gets shot by the cops. She's the one who gets shot by the cops first when they die. Why does she have to do all the physical pain of everything to show that she likes this man? It's bad. It's bad. It's bad. The script is bad. So yeah, we're gonna leave this on. There's no stakes. This film is hopeless. So there's no stakes. This is a hopeless film. It's saying it has social commentary that it doesn't have. Nothing about, there's nothing. If this movie is a good movie, if you just leave there saying this movie is not trying to make any social commentary. It's not trying to have any social commentary. It's not trying to do anything. It's, if you just sit there and understand that fact, you can enjoy this movie tenfold, because the social commentary is trying to make, if I even follow you down the social commentary road, I don't like where you take me, because having the man with the gold teeth who can barely talk, having him be the one rat out Queen and Slim, what's your point, Miss Waithe? Because I don't like what you're trying to say. I don't like what you're trying to say, that hood people gonna rat him out for some money. That's just not realistic. It's not realistic. You mean the same people who are bullied by the cops gonna be the same ones who rat them out to the cops? It's not realistic. It's not realistic, Lena Waithe. So even if you're trying to make social commentary, everybody ain't down for the ride, all skin folk ain't your kinfolk, I don't like who you use to show that with. I don't like. I would much rather it have been the mechanic. I would much rather it have been the mechanic put a tracking device on the car and the mechanic turned them in. I would much rather that have been that would have been outlandish and we reaching, but I would much rather have seen that because the mechanic already seemed like an uppity black. Like, unlike all the rest of these ignorant fools, I don't like what y'all did. He already seems like one of those black people. Therefore, having him rat them out, and he lost his son, right? It would all make sense. That would make sense. Instead of having this random man who I can't even point out the plot holes and why that dude wouldn't be the one to do that. Like, I won't even point out those plot holes and why that don't make near a bit of sense. And the biggest plot hole of them all, the sheriff that picks them up at the very beginning. The shooting couldn't happen no more than 2-3 hours ago. He's in Kentucky. It happened in Ohio. He's on his walkie and he gets an alert that a cop died. Now, I'm not a cop, but I just think that's slightly outlandish. Cops are dying every day. And people in other states aren't getting on their walkie, getting alerts, and he's off duty, getting alerts that cops have been, like, in a matter of an hour. It just doesn't, I think that's a little unrealistic. I could be wrong because 100% he's a sheriff and they could be passing through state lines. But on the walkie, he gets that. I understand a phone call. Hey, be on the alert. This happened in Ohio. But on the walkie, like, everyone needs to hit it. Come on, in Kentucky, and it happened to stay. Anything else? Let me go over my notes one more time. What am I supposed to feel? That's what I said. Do black people deserve to die? Is that what, like, it just, when they get shot down, what am I supposed to feel? Am I supposed to feel hopeless like I feel? What am I supposed to feel? What am I supposed to feel when the little black boy does what he does? What am I supposed to feel? There's no antagonist in this movie. That's why we don't know how to feel. There's no antagonist. There's no one to be mad at. And the thing is, first of all, the initial scene with the cop is over-exaggerated and unrealistic. The initial scene that gets them into this is over-exaggerated and unrealistic. And notice how when he was in the cop car, they showed a picture of his family. Lena Waithe, what are we doing with that too? I just want to know. I want to know what is the point of this movie. The point of this movie. We're not on the run. They're not in love. We don't get that. And it's not Black Lives Matter commentary because there's good white folk. That's what I leave here thinking, like, wow, Queen and Slim got themselves in some shit, but thank God for them good white folk. We know there's good white people. That's never the point. And you saying that rests on this idea that a lot of people have, the problem they have with Black Lives Matter is that we're saying there's not good white people, and that's not what anyone thinks. That's not what anyone thinks. No one thinks that. No one thinks that. No one thinks that. No one thinks that. No one thinks that there's not white people who will help black people. That's not what no one thinks. So what are you saying? You're not hitting at any truth because no one thinks that. No one thinks that. But for some reason, you're making a movie to show that there's good white. You don't need to make movies like that. You don't. We know that. It's just it's so simple. This is such a simple movie. A simple movie. How you got a 2.5-hour runtime and you do nothing with it? Give me some pen and paper and a movie someone who wants to finance my movie and some money and a 2.5-hour runtime and to be in theaters all over the country, and you'll be surprised what Miss Ash Tolby will do. You'll be surprised. Anyways, that's my thoughts on the movie. That's my thoughts. I ramble. I think I hit all my thoughts. This is a long one. I'm sorry. Yeah. In conclusion, Lena Waithe, screen your movies. Screen your movies, Lena Waithe, because you could have avoided all this by just screening the movie. Go see the movie, though. Go see. It's one of those movies that you gotta see to believe you saw. But I promise you, when you leave the movie, you're gonna feel just like me. Like, sis, it's one of those movies where once you start thinking about the movie, you're like, what the hell was this? It's one of those. Beautiful cast, though. Wish you had some black Americans in there. Bokeem, you get all the praise from me. all the praise for me. You saved this shit show. You saved that shit show. But it wasn't a bad movie. It was not a bad movie. These are my critiques, but it's not a bad movie. I gave it a 6.5, which to me, in my ratings, a 6.5 is watchable. A 6.5 is a watchable movie. It's a watchable movie. It's a good movie. It just has some bad things, okay? But that's a good thing in some ways for you to still, but the thing is, what's saving it is good old Bokeem. I'm sorry, Bokeem is saving it. Bokeem is giving it the 4.5 stars that gets it to a 6.5, okay? Anyways, I will see you guys in my next one.